Well, I've always been interested in flooding in general because I really think it's the way that someone with my skills as a geographer can really get involved in helping out in society. So I came to do this PhD at Sheffield because it was really too good an opportunity to miss to get involved in that way. In the UK, flooding is the only real risk we're faced with rising sea levels and potentially increased storminess. It's really necessary to get as good an understanding of how risk has changed over time and might change into the future at our coastlines. My project is an attempt to combine more rigorous scientific methods using coastal sand dunes and salt marshes as archives of sea level with coastal floodstones. So the way the Floodstone Project works is members of the public submit the location of their floodstones online at floodstones.co.uk, and then I get a notification about that submission and then head out and survey them. So where we're heading to today, I've got it up here on my phone, is we're heading to Kings Lynn in North Norfolk to surveying a floodstone there so we get the height of that floodstone above sea level. Right, so far as I'm aware, that's our church over there. So let's make our way over. I hope there isn't another church anyway. Well, the most significant flood in recent centuries was the 1953 storm surge, which had quite devastating consequences for both the UK coast as well as the Netherlands coastlines, but was particularly hard felt here in North Norfolk. I'm a bit concerned it's behind that door. That could be a problem. Please enter by west doors. Well, we better head to the west door. Perhaps they're there. I hope so. Let's go. Actually genuinely excited. They're right there. Yeah, you can just see them through there. You might not be able to pick them up on the camera, but they are definitely there. There's little white bits. We've got 5 floodstones here, which is pretty exceptional to have all 5 of these in one location, so well preserved. So we've got ones dating back to the 1953 storm surge, which I mentioned earlier, was pretty devastating for the area. And some, in fact, going back as far as 1883, which is the oldest one here. What's quite interesting about this location, actually, is we've actually got the 1978 flood, which was actually higher than the 1953 flood, but was much smaller in its consequences for the community, simply because we had better opportunities to prepare for that event than we did for the 1953 surge. What I find really interesting about these kind of floodstones, especially when they're all collected together in a nice archive like this, is it gives us a really good picture of how flood history has changed over time and how the risk here might have changed over time, and helps us infer better how it might change into the future and how we can better prepare for future floods.